Listen to me. Your belief is the foundation for your breakthrough. I don't care how big the dream is. I don't care how far the finish line looks right now. If you don't believe deep down that you can get there, you've already lost. You're not even in the race. That's why so many people start something and never finish. It's not because they weren't smart enough or talented enough. It's because they didn't believe enough. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your mind is filled with doubt, that talent will go to waste. You'll never even tap into your potential because your own voice is louder than your gift. And that voice keeps telling you, you can't. You're not ready, you're not ready, you're not enough. That voice is a liar. That voice doesn't know the fight you got inside of you. That voice doesn't know the hunger that's burning in your belly. But here's the problem. If you don't check that voice, if you don't silence it, if you don't tell it to shut up and sit down, it's going to win. Do you know why people with less talent than you are out here winning? Do you know why people who started with less than you are out here living their dreams? Because they believe. That's it. They didn't have a handout. They didn't have a safety net. They didn't have millions in the bank. But they had belief. And belief makes you dangerous. Belief makes you unstoppable bull. When you believe, you don't wait for perfect condition. You create them. You don't sit around hoping somebody else will open the door. You kick it down yourself. I need you to get there. Your breakthrough is waiting, but it's not gonna meet you halfway. You have to run toward it like your life depends on it. You gotta get up every single day and act like you already won. Act like you already have the business. Act like you already made the team. Act like you already passed the exam. Because if you wait to believe until you see the results, you're going to be waiting forever. The results only come after the belief. That's the order. You believe first, then you move, then you see. That's the formula. But right now, you got it backward. You're standing there saying, oh, when I see it, I believe it. No, when you believe it, you'll see it. That's the difference between the ones who make it and the ones who don't. The ones who make it don't need a cheering section. They don't need likes on Instagram. They don't need someone clapping for them in the background. They are their own motivation. They are their own validation. I remember when I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, when I didn't have a bed, didn't have food, didn't have nothing but a dream. You think I had people encouraging me? You think I had folks patting me on the back saying, Eric, you got this? No, I had to believe in me when nobody else would. I had to believe in me when even I didn't feel like believing. That's the hardest part. Believing in yourself when your reality doesn't line up with your vision. But that's what separates the lions from the sheep. That's what separates the winners from the whiners. Anybody can believe when the sun is shining and the bank account is full. Anybody can believe when the path is clear and the doors are wide open. But can you believe when everything around you is telling you to quit? Can you believe when all you've got is pain and pressure and problems? Because that's where the breakthrough is born. That's where greatness is made. You're sitting on gold. You're sitting on a gift that was placed in you for a reason. But it doesn't matter if you got gold inside of you if you don't believe it's there. You're too busy looking at everybody else's treasure to even realize you're carrying your own. Stop looking left and right. Stop comparing your life to theirs. Stop waiting for somebody to come along and tell you you're special. You were born special. You were born with everything you need. All that's missing is your belief. When you wake up tomorrow, I want you to wake up different. Wake up like the person you're trying to become is already inside of you. Stop saying that one day I'll be confident, one day I'll be successful, one day I'll make it. No, start saying, today I am confident, today I am successful, today I will make it. You don't need to wait for the world to believe in you. You just need to believe in you. And when you do, watch how everything around you starts to change. Yeah. Stop waiting for other people to believe in you. Stop waiting for their validation, their applause, their approval. The truth is, most of them don't even believe in themselves. So how are they going to believe in you? You've been sitting there thinking your success depends on how many people are cheering you on. You've been thinking you need everybody to agree with your dream before you can move. Let me tell you something. They don't have to see it. They don't have to understand it. They don't have to support it. You're the one who was given the vision. It wasn't sent to them. It was sent to you. I know what it feels like to look around and wonder why no one else can see how bad you want it. I know what it feels like to tell people your dream and they laugh. To pour your heart out about your goals and they say, oh, that's impossible. But let me ask you a question. Whose dream is it, yours or theirs? Whose life is it, yours or theirs? So why are you waiting for their permission to go after it? When I was homeless, I told people I was going to be one of the greatest motivational speakers in the world. I told people I was going to inspire millions, travel the globe, make a difference. You know what they said? Eric, you're crazy. You can't even keep a roof over your head. You're eating out of trash cans. You think people are going to pay you to talk? And I could have listened. I could have let their disbelief crush me, but I did. You know why? Because I realized their disbelief had nothing to do with me. Their disbelief was a reflection of their own limitations, not mine. You gotta stop giving people power over your future. Some of you have dreams you've been sitting on for years because you're scared of what your family might say. You're scared of what your friends will think. You're scared of looking foolish if you fail. Listen to me. Failing doesn't make you foolish. Quitting does. Doubting yourself does. Sitting on the sidelines of your own life while you watch everybody else live their dreams, that's what makes you foolish. Do you understand how powerful you are when you stop caring who claps for you? Do you understand how dangerous you become when you stop needing approval? You become unstoppable. You wake up with a fire in your belly that nobody can put out because it's not fueled by their words. It's fueled by your purpose. The people you're waiting on to believe in you, some of them will never believe because your dream is too big for their mind. Some of them will never believe because if you make it, it'll remind them they did. Some of them will never believe because they can't imagine themselves doing anything great. So how could they imagine you doing it? And that's okay. It's not your job to fix their mindset. It's your job to protect yours. You want to know how you know you're on the right track. When people start doubting you, when people start whispering, who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? That's how you know you're stepping into something bigger than yourself. That's how you know you're not playing small anymore. And when that happens, don't shrink, don't back down, don't dim your light because it's too bright for their eyes. Shine anyway, walk anyway, build anyway. Stop asking small-minded people for their opinion on your big dreams. Stop expecting people who never left the shore to understand your journey across the ocean. You weren't called to be ordinary. You weren't created to fit in. You were designed to stand out, to rise up, to do something that's never been done before. You gotta become your own biggest fan. You gotta clap for yourself even when nobody else claps. You gotta encourage yourself when it feels like the whole world is silent. You gotta believe so deeply, even if the road gets hard, even if the storm gets rough, you keep pushing. I'm telling you right now, stop waiting. Stop waiting for the crowd. Stop waiting for applause. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for somebody to tell you, you're ready. You are ready. You've been ready. You're just scared. But fear doesn't get to decide your future. You do. The moment you stop waiting for other people to believe in you is the moment you unlock your power. That's when you take control of your life. That's when you stop being a victim of their doubts and you become the hero of your own story. Belief fuels action and doubt kills dreams. That's the truth. You can have all the talent in the world. You can have the best ideas, the best resources, but if you let doubt take root in your mind, it will choke the life out of your goals before they even get started. Doubt is like a virus. Spreads fast. It grows strong. It will shut you down if you don't fight it. When you believe in yourself, everything changes. You stop moving timid. You stop tiptoeing around your destiny. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and you create momentum. Belief makes you bold. Belief makes you take steps you wouldn't have dared to take when you were doubting. Belief makes you walk into rooms like you belong there, even when nobody invited you. That's why belief is so dangerous. It activates something inside of you that doubt can never touch. But doubt paralyzes you. Doubt whispers in your ear, oh, not ready. You're not qualified. What if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you try and it doesn't work? And the longer you listen to doubt, the more it grows. The more it grows, the weaker you get. The weaker you get, the less you move. until one day you're standing still. Not because you weren't capable, not because you weren't strong enough, but because you let doubt convince you to stop before you even start, before you even started. You see, belief and doubt can't live in the same house. One of them has got to go, and you got to choose which one it's going to be. You can't serve two masters. You can't hold faith in one hand and fear in the other and expect to move forward. Sooner or later, you're going to have to drop one, and I came to tell you today, drop the doubt. Drop it before it drops you. Drop it before it robs you of another year, another dream, another opportunity. You want to know why belief fuels action? Because when you believe, you see possibilities where others see obstacles. You see opportunity where others see opposition. You don't wait for the door to open. You build your own door. You don't wait for someone to hand you a seat at the table. You bring your own chair and sit down anyway. When I was trying to get my JED, people laughed. They said, Eric, you've been out of school too long. You're not academic. You don't have the discipline. But I believed I could do it. So I studied like my life depended on it. And when I got that JED, they said, okay, fine, but college isn't for you. Don't even think about it. I believed I could do it. So I applied and I went. When I graduated, they said, all right, but a PhD, that's impossible for somebody like you. But I believed I could do it. So I put in the work and I became Dr. Eric Thomas. If I had listened to their doubts, or worse, my own doubts, I'd still be in that abandoned building. I'd still be sleeping on cold floors, eating out of trash cans, wondering why my life wasn't changing. But I believed. And because I believed, I moved. And because I moved, my whole life shifted. Some of you are sitting on your dreams because you've been feeding your doubt instead of feeding your faith. Every time an idea comes to you, you shoot it down before it even has a chance to grow. You say, I'm too young, I'm too young, I'm too old. I don't have the money, I don't have the connections. You've got to stop rehearsing the reasons why it won't work and stop focusing on the reasons why it will. If you keep feeding your doubt, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger until it owns you. But if you feed your belief, if you nurture it, if you water it every single day with action and discipline and consistency, it will grow into something unstoppable. The difference between the person who makes it and the person who doesn't isn't always talent. It isn't always skill. It isn't always opportunity. Most of the time it's belief. One person said, I can do this, and they moved. The other person said, I'm not sure, and they sat still. That's it. So I need you to ask yourself, what are you feeding right now? Are you feeding your doubt or your belief? Are you fueling your excuses or your execution? Are you letting fear sit in the driver's seat? Or are you taking back the wheel? You've been waiting too long. You've been hesitating too much. And every day you wait, your doubt grows stronger and your dream grows weaker. But the moment you decide to believe, everything changes. When you believe, you start to move. When you move, you start to build. When you build, you start to win. Your circumstances don't determine your future. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care how bad it's been, how hard it's been, or how ugly it looks right now. Your current situation is not your final destination. You've got to stop letting your environment dictate your effort. You've got to stop letting where you are decide where you're going. Because where you are right now is only temporary. It's not permanent unless you make it permanent. Unless you grew up in a house where nobody believed in dreams. Nah. I know you're surrounded by people who don't think big. I know you're fighting battles every single day that nobody even knows about. But let me tell you something. You're bigger than your circumstances. You're bigger than your pain. You're bigger than your struggle. You're not stuck unless you decide to stay stuck. I was homeless for 2.5 years. You think my circumstances look promising? You think people looked at me and said, that's the next great motivational speaker right there? No, they looked at me and said, he's done, he's finished. He's a statistic. But I decided I wasn't going to let the streets define me. I wasn't going to let my poverty define me. I wasn't going to let my mistakes define me. I chose to fight. I chose to fight. I chose to believe. I chose to rise. And that's why I'm here talking to you right now. You've been telling yourself, if I had more money, I'd start. If I had more support, I'd start. If I had better circumstances, I'd start. But let me ask you a question. What if your breakthrough isn't waiting on better circumstances? What if your breakthrough is waiting on a better mindset? What if you're wasting years of your life thinking you gotta wait for things to get easier when really you're supposed to get stronger? Listen to me. Your environment might be rough, but rough diamonds still shine. Some of the greatest success stories came from the hardest environments. Oprah didn't have perfect circumstances. Les Brown didn't have perfect circumstances. Steve Harvey didn't have perfect circumstances. And I didn't have perfect circumstances. But all of us had one thing in common. We refused to let our situations define us. Your future is being shaped every single day, not by what's happening around you, but by what's happening inside of you. That's why you can take two people from the same environment, give them the same struggles, and watch one rise while the other one sinks. The difference isn't the circumstances. The difference is the mindset. Stop telling yourself you're a product of your environment. You're not a product of your environment. You're a product of your decision. You don't get to choose where you started. Or you do get to choose where you started, but you do get to choose where you don't get to choose what happened to you, but you do get to choose how you respond. You don't get to choose your family, your neighborhood, your school system, but you do get to choose whether you're gonna let those things stop you or fuel you. I get it. It's hard to push when everything around you is saying quit. It's hard to believe when everything around you is telling you to give up. But that's the test. That's where the champions are made. If you can grind when the odds are against you, if you can believe when nobody else believes, if you can work like you already made it while you're still struggling, that's when the breakthrough comes. Your circumstances are not your ceiling. Stop treating them like they are. Stop treating your problems like they're permanent. Stop treating your pain like it's forever. This is just a season, not a sentence. It's a chapter, not the whole book. And if you keep writing, if you keep showing up, if you keep fighting, the story is going to shift. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Don't wait for everything to line up. It never will. Success doesn't come to people who wait. Success comes to people who refuse to quit. It comes to people who decide, oh, no matter what's happening around me, I'm going to keep moving. No matter what I see with my eyes, I'm going to trust what I know in my heart. No matter how many times I get knocked down, I'm getting back up. You got to understand, your circumstances are temporary, but your decisions echo forever. You got to decide today that no matter what happens, you're going to outlast the struggle. You're going to outlast the doubt. You're going to outlast the pain. Because the future you're dreaming about is real, but it won't happen unless you fight for it. Fear and faith cannot live in the same heart. One of them has to go. You can't hold on to both and think you're going to win. Fear will paralyze you. Fear will rob you. Fear will talk you out of your dreams before you even take the first step. But faith will make you move mountains. Faith will make you do the impossible. Faith will push you to keep going even when it looks like there's no way forward. That's why you got to choose. You can't serve fear and faith at the same time. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they're scared. Scared to start, scared to try, scared to risk, scared of what people will think, scared of falling on their face. But let me ask you this. What's the worst that can happen? You fail, so what? At least you tried, at least you fought, at least you took your shot. Because the truth is, failure isn't the end. Fear is. Fear will keep you in the same place for years. Fear will have you sitting on your gift, watching other people live their dreams while you make excuses. Fear will convince you to settle for less than your worth. And here's the scary part. Fear sounds so reasonable. It'll whisper in your ear. Wait until you're ready. Wait until the timing is perfect. Wait until you have more money. Wait until you're more experienced. But there's no such thing as perfect timing. There's no such thing as ready. Ready is a lie. Fear tells you so you'll sit still. Faith says, move now. Start now. Go now. Faith doesn't wait for the conditions to be perfect. Faith creates the condition. Faith says, I don't see the way, but I trust there is one. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm stepping anyway. Oh, that's why faith and fear can't coexist. Either you're going to believe the voice that says you can't, or you're going to believe the one that says you can. You decide. You think I wasn't scared when I stood in front of my first audience? You think I wasn't scared when I said I wanted to be one of the best motivational speakers in the world? You think I wasn't scared when I was sleeping in an abandoned building? No money, no food. And I kept saying, this ain't how my story ends. I was terrified, but I chose faith over fear. I chose to believe that what I didn't see was bigger than what I did see. I chose to trust that the pain had a purpose. You've been living small because fear told you to. Fear told you not to apply for that job. Fear told you not to start the business. Fear told you not to speak up, not to show up, not to shine too bright because people might not like it. Fear told you to keep playing it safe. But let me tell you something, safe will never get you to great. Comfort zones are where dreams go to die. Faith doesn't guarantee it'll be easy. Faith doesn't guarantee you won't face obstacles. Faith doesn't promise you won't fall. But faith gives you the courage to keep going even after you fall. Faith gives you the strength to get back up and say, this is not the end for me. You've got to make a choice. Are you going to let fear control your story? Or are you going to take the pen back and rewrite it with faith? Fear is loud, but faith is louder if you let it be. Fear will scream, you're not good enough. Faith will whisper, you are. Fear will yell, you're going to fail. Faith will say, even if you fall, you'll rise. Every great person you admire made the same choice. They didn't have less fear than you. They just had more faith. They felt the fear and did it anyway. That's courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward in spite of fear. You don't have to know how it's all going to work out. You don't have to have all the answers. All you got to do is take the first step, and then the second, and then the third. Stop trying to figure out step 50 before you take step 1. Faith isn't about seeing the whole staircase. Faith is about taking the first step and trusting the rest will appear. Fear and faith are both asking you to believe in something you can't see. Fear says, "I believe in the worst." Faith says, "I believe in the best." So which one are you going to choose?